commercials, all right? The shows are there to suck you in and sit you down so you see some commercials. The shows are a lie. The commercials are the truth. They're the only thing that's complete, that's not interrupted.
Tabletop is a fabulous play playing at the American Place Theater main stage, and we're so pleased to have the lead here with us tonight.
I agree with Susan. Tabletop is a terrific play. It's very funny. It's very mean. It's about the making of television commercials. And Rob Bartlett plays a tyrannical director who manipulates, browbeats, attacks his poor staff. Mr. Bartlett is a man of many talents. He writes the Don Imus radio program. He does those terrific parodies that you hear.
One of the writers. Yes.
One of the writers. But you do all those great song parodies.
The song parodies, yes. I have to take claim to those.
And you're a stand-up comic. And you're the author of that short-lived masterpiece, More to Love, that was on Broadway a few seasons back.
Yes, yes. Short-lived, I think, is a kind way of putting it. Yes.
Welcome to Theater Talk, Rob Bartlett. First of all, let's congratulate you on the performance. It's really terrific in Tabletop.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the play for people who haven't seen it, and also tell us about your character and what's going on in his life when this play starts off.
The play is really like a day in a life. It takes place in real time. It's 100 minutes in the day of this group of people who really create tabletop television commercials for a living. And tabletop is the area of the business that deals with the product shots, the close-up still life photography.
Right. The shining apple and the grapes. And
exactly. The pouring of the milk onto the cereal, those types of things. The real meat and potatoes part of the commercial, as far as my character Marcus is concerned. It's not the actors, it's the hamburger and the pickles. And it concerns Marcus Gordon, the part that I play, who is one of the top 5, let's say, guys in the business.
But starting to go.
Yeah, he's losing his grip. He's kind of entering that dinosaur area. He's not really keeping up with
There are
Chicago.
young kids coming up the ladder.
This young whippersnapper in Chicago is really, blowing the lights out and doing all this fun, exciting stuff, and it totally goes against Marcus's sensibilities, and he's very, very reluctant to change, and basically nothing is going right, and the back's against the wall. It's a day of reshoots, and that's coming out of his pocket, and one thing leads to another, and it's a day at work basically with a group of people.
And a parable about the magic of show business.
Yeah, and just the kind of what it's like to work in any type of situation when you have a group of people who have to join forces to come up with anything.
Right. And we should give credit, of course, to the playwright, whom we haven't mentioned, Rob Ackerman. Who worked in Tabletop himself, so he brings a great experience to this play and knowledge of the subject. There is another dynamic going on in this play, which I find interesting. One of the characters, the intern, I think he is, very nice performance by Jeremy Webb.
Playing Ron.
He is an extremely talented, artistic, almost a genius kid who saves your bacon on this show. But he's undisciplined. And the juxtaposition between your character, who, once upon a time had that raw talent, that genius too, but is now maybe sold out in a way. He's got the Mercedes, he's got the house in Connecticut. And you sense the resentment he has for this young kid who's got all the talent he once had, but is unencumbered with all of the concerns that you have now that you're a businessman.
Yeah, I mean, everything that Marcus says in the play about his contemporaries, the people who came up along with him, or people who are, for instance, the guy from Chicago. This is the new whippersnapper that's coming to me. He's like me, but better. In a way, I think that's one of the reasons why he's so irritated with Ron, is because Ron reminds him of him.
Right.
At one time, he was able to just entertain his artistic sensibilities, and that one part, it's left brain, right brain,
right.
Fighting against each other.
But the kid doesn't have any discipline.
Right.
And in order to be in the world that you're in, to be a professional, he is going to have to be disciplined. And when he fucks up too many times, you fire him.
Yeah.
You recognize the talent, but you fire him.
You can say fucks up?
Is that, that's what I said on, yes, we can say it.
Cool. I thought this was like cable or something.
It's PBS, you can say whatever.
I'm now going to have to write a memo.
All right.
I'm just very excited now that I was able to say this on television.
Well, we get so into the conversation, we forget the TV characters.
That's fine. No, I'm very excited.
So back
the Charlie Rose audience is flipping the chair. What's going on?
What the hell is going on? They're saying the F word. They wanted what to think about theater.
All right, we won't say it again. I'm sorry.
Back to the lack of discipline.
Now, I do want to ask you, as I'm a fan of the Imus program, and as I was watching this dysfunctional family with this tyrannical head, I was wondering, is there a parallel here with what goes on in the Don Imus program?
You know,
do you base your performance on your own boss?
It'd be really easy to say that were the case, and it would be really fun to say that were the case, because that's certainly the way we portray him when we're on the air together.
Exactly.
I think there's a certain amount of that in any given situation with people. I mean, there's always going to be a boss, and there's always going to be underlings, and there's
Right.
especially in a creative endeavor, there's going to be butting heads or whatever. There really are no similarities between Imus and Marcus. I mean, I don't really see Marcus having any altruistic aspects whatsoever. I don't
There's
see
no
Marcus.
ranch to be.
I was going to say Marcus is not going to be starting any ranch for kids with cancer. That much I can tell you. But the dynamic, the family dynamic, I would say, is very similar, because I think when you look at all the people that Imus has surrounded himself with, I mean, Charles has been there for 20, 25 years.
Right.
Larry Kenny's been there for, Bernard has been there for 13. We've all been with him for so long. I mean, obviously, it's because there's a reason,
Right.
that.
Right. No, I think that's right. I mean, that is definitely as you say, the dynamic in any creative environment. Somebody, much like a theater talk, somebody has to be the boss here and order everybody else around, and have loyal,
And Susan knows the
loyal
term.
assistants. She knows what she has to do. Now, tell me about your day. I mean, you write for the radio program. You're on the radio program. You're doing your stand-up comedy stuff, and you're performing every night. I mean, when do you have time? When do you have time to write? When do you have time to do anything?
The writing is, I basically do the writing the same time I do my sleeping in the car, driving to and from the theater and the radio station. It's like anything else, you try and compartmentalize your time, and you drink a lot of coffee and,
Do you have
a lot of ginseng.
When More to Love received a less than totally favorable reception on Broadway.
Talk
avert-
about euphemisms.
You were back.
Avert your eyes was the quote, okay? Let's not pussyfoot around over
It
here.
was panned. It was
No,
stuffed.
it was murdered. It was butchered. They tore it apart, Michael.
From limb.
And and Imus tracks your activities. You were back out there with the Bartletts, and your act.
Hey.
And you were back out there so fast with something else. I was very impressed. Yeah. You weren't licking your wounds.
This
too
isn't for
terribly long.
kids. This is this is
No, it's a tough business.
And Lily Tomlin says it's not show art, it's show business. And
But you got to be honest with us, though. I mean, when you write this play, More to Love comes on, and Peter Marks in the New York Times just completely destroys it, and it's gone in a couple of days. I mean, takes something out of you.
Oh,
It must
absolutely.
destroy you in some
I
way.
invested many, many years of time in it. We got off track somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. I don't think it ever really should have been considered a play, because it was never in my intention to write a play. It was to have some kind of a structure around my stand-up act, which is basically what we had put together. A little bit of a storyline, something that was going to, just tie things together.
Right.
And then, as anything else, you get a bunch of different minds together, and producers and creative people, and everyone starts stirring the pot, and at some point things, I was very proud of More to Love. I mean, and to this day, people come up to me and say, I saw it and I don't understand why. I don't understand why.
I have
I
two words
loved
for you.
it.
Peter Marks.
Well,
That's why.
no, 3 words. Avert your eyes. Those were the 3 words. Okay. But it's. You try not to, because some of the same critics turned right around and
That's right.
compared me to Jackie Gleason in Tabletop. So I mean, what are you going to do?
Well,
it's like,
that's the
way it
business,
happens.
baby,
That's
and you know
babe,
it. Listen, Rob, a terrific performance in Tabletop. We wish you a long run at the American Place Theater.
That's it.
That's it. It's over with.
I
It'll go
thought,
somebody like that.
this was it went by so fast.
Not one obscenity. Right.
No. We're not a 3-hour show like you have, or 4, however long that thing goes on in the morning. All morning long, you're going to slip there. They're still talking about
26 minutes, 47 seconds, and
we're
are
out of there,
out.
baby.
But this just flew by.
Well, listen, you're welcome to come back anytime.
Please.
I'm not doing anything next week.
Every week. Good. All right, we'll plug Tabletop here on Theater Talk all the time. They don't do it
Great.
beyond his
Great.
program.
Thank you very much.
But really, we urge you to see Tabletop. It's a great performance by Rob Barlett and a terrific play.
Thank you.
Thanks for being our guest tonight on Theater Talk.
Pleasure.